Hey guys, I wanted to show you one of my favorite lunches right now. And even though I've been sick, today's day 6 home. It's this really weird flu. My husband and daughter had it and they were like crazy congested and coughing and dying. And I'm just like vaguely sick, which is sort of a frustration of mine. Being healthy and strong is like, I feel like I never get taken all the way down, but I still can't exercise, I still can't work effectively, so I'm resting. So it's day 6. Anyway, so I'm home, I'm doing some work from the computer, I'm trying to rest, but I'm also still eating good food, and I'm really thankful that I prepped ahead of time. So when I get a little bit of energy, I spend not much more than 15 minutes prepping. And I just want to show you, I have this gigantic bowl with a lid that fits on it. And I make my cabbage slaw, which is basically a pound of cabbage and, 2 pounds of cabbage to a pound of carrots. And then I actually forgot about the cilantro. I love cilantro. People have a love-hate relationship with it. And my husband went to the store for me and he accidentally got parsley, because flat leaf parsley looks like this, and cilantro looks like this. They're quite different to me, but not to him. The real way you know is the smell. But I'm sure because he's been getting over the flu, he didn't want to stick his face in the groceries. So I take an entire head of cilantro, wash it, and then chop the whole thing and put it in this slaw. So I'm going to do that. And while I do that, I wanted to talk to you about something that is a real common misunderstanding. And that is that we all need to eat different food. So hear me out here, because this goes against the sort of what everyone says, not what experts say, but what everyone says. And that is this idea that we're all different and, what's right for one person isn't right for another. That's true, and it's not true. By the way, I just want to shout out, I am someone who's vehemently against sweatpants, and I joke about it with my friends because I'm like a silk nightgown person, even if I'm dying. And I just want you to see today that I have sweatpants on. I own sweatpants. Granted, they're high waist and they're sort of like big pocketed, so they're a little bit funny. But I don't do frumpy so much. Don't like it. I'd rather feel luxurious than frumpy. And for those of you that love sweatpants and think they're comfortable and not frumpy, you do you. I'm gonna put all this cilantro in there. And anyway, so back to bio-individuality. Everybody's different. True and not true. So here's the thing. Humans evolved over millions of years, 3 million years. 60 billion cells that evolved eating basically the same thing. Recent research in the past few years, I think, out of Israel, showing that for 2 million years, the majority of the human diet was just meat. That was it, right? Because there's no rice growing in the wild, like enough for us to eat it. We might have dug up tubers. There may have been a few grains found here and there, but really we were hunting and gathering, and that's kind of it. So that's what our cells evolved eating. And so that's what our cells all can have. So it's sort of like saying all babies are different. Some babies can't tolerate breast milk. Maybe, but typically it's like something in the mom's diet that they can't tolerate. Your baby's DNA is designed to thrive off of breast milk. So that's the base of it. So why can one person do better off of one diet and another this, and I don't tolerate dairy, I can't eat gluten, I can't, bell peppers aren't great for me. This is where the part comes in that it is true that we need different food, but it's not because humans need different food. It's because over the course of my lineage, somehow there's been an adaptation. I have acquired autoimmune disorders that prevent me from eating these foods and thriving. I have rosacea. If I eat bell pepper, my rosacea flares. That's not necessarily me needing a different diet than you. That's me having a condition that I developed as a result of modern food, stress, and lifestyle. So it's different. If we were all born 1,000 years ago into the same part of the world with the same natural diet that existed around us, hunting and gathering, we would all eat the same damn thing. You might have different preferences. Some people might really like the heart of an animal, some people might not. But we all subsist off basically the same thing. And humans in general thrive off of the same thing, which is the macronutrients that are required by us to consume. They are necessary and we cannot make them ourselves. And that is essential protein, essential fats, essential vitamins and minerals. And that is true for every single one of us. We all need the same thing. Now, The Rock, who's 200 pounds of muscle, is going to need a hell of a lot more than little old me. But still the same thing. Still a optimal protein requirement, essential fatty acids that the body can't make, like omega-3s, and vitamins and minerals. It's the same for everyone. Now, somebody who has diabetes or who has insulin resistance, their body is not going to be able to burn fat for fuel like you're meant to. Their body is going to crave carbohydrate. It's going to primarily exist off of burning carbohydrate for fuel because it can't access fat because insulin levels and blood sugar levels are too high. So that person might say, well, I can't fast. I can't do a low carb diet. I can't cut sugar. I just don't feel good. That's not because their body, their humanity requires something different. It's because their body has been conditioned by modern food to run a certain way. That's not how it was built to run. That's a very different thing. Once we take out modern food and get that person back to eating whole foods, they actually can restore their ability to burn fat for fuel. They no longer have cravings. They no longer want sugar. They no longer burn carbohydrate primarily as fuel. So we're restoring it. It's sort of like saying that someone who is dependent on alcohol requires an alcohol diet, because if you take the alcohol out, their liver freaks out. That's not natural. Their body has been conditioned, their liver has been conditioned to need alcohol without going into withdrawal. I'm not talking about the addiction, I'm talking about the physical part. So I just want you to be mindful when you're hearing all these people say, well, everybody's different. And it's like, yes and no. We all require the same thing: essential protein, essential fats, vitamins and minerals. And if that is not what you feel fueled by, it is likely because your body has been adulterated by modern food, and it's been conditioned to run off of sugar and conditioned to eat all day long and conditioned to be hungry all the time. These are not natural ways of being. This is not how your body was built. Refrigeration and freezers are only 100 years old. We used to go for days without food without a problem. I'm not suggesting that, but it shouldn't be difficult. Your body should be able to access its own body fat for fuel, and it feels emotionally hard to maybe go a couple days without food, like this sucks, but physically, you're fine. That is optimal. So, before I finish, because I'm not 100% thinking clear here, I'm a little woozy from getting over the flu, and I probably shouldn't be talking this long, but I just want to show you. So I have a big ass bowl of coleslaw. It is so good, and all I do is shred the cabbage and carrots in my food processor, and then so they're nice, and then I just add salt and this whole thing of cilantro, and I have a big cup measure, and I have 2 big cups of this per serving. And then I have chicken breasts that all I do is put salt and pepper on them and put them in the air fryer. I like doing 12 to 14 minutes, depending on how big they are, for at 385 degrees. And then when they're done, I let them sit in there for like 10 minutes with it closed without opening it, so the juices all go back in. And this is how I found to have the most juicy chicken breast. So I do a bunch in the air fryer, or I do them on the grill, or do them all sorts of ways. But I like to just have a bulk protein so that I can do with it whatever I want. Like if I wanted Thai food, I could put some lemongrass coconut on. If I wanted Mexican food, I could put salsa. If I wanted like a chicken salad, sometimes I do curry and shredded apple. It's just nice to have protein available when that is truly the food that we need to thrive. And so the other thing I want to mention, I also have my favorite homemade mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise. If I could put gobs and gobs of mayonnaise on everything, I would. And because 99.99% of mayonnaise on the market is made with crappy oil, I make my own, but you can buy avocado oil mayonnaise. There's a couple brands, I think Chosen Foods and Primal Kitchen are the ones that I know about. The other thing that I do, this is so old, this is a 10-year-old scale, these are scuff marks, is I have a food scale. This is $9 on Amazon, and it has ounces, pounds, and grams, and milliliters. And I make sure to measure my protein so that I know that I'm getting enough. Because the thing about protein is it has a dose response, much like Motrin. If you take half a Motrin, you're not going to get rid of your headache. It requires a certain amount, a certain dose to have a certain effect on your body, and the same with protein. If you don't get a certain kind of protein in a certain amount, it is not going to trigger your muscles to grow. And when you're 50 or in your 40s and up even, you need to trigger your muscles or you're going to lose them. And there's only 2 ways to do it: protein and resistance training. Protein and resistance training. Only 2 ways. That's it. We don't have growth hormone anymore after age 35. Our kids can build muscle just eating Twinkies. Not advised, but they can. If you want to age strong, you've got to prioritize protein. Protein is the fountain of youth. Not kidding. It is everything. When my clients figure out how to get their nutrition high enough in protein, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been missing this my entire life. My cravings are gone. My hunger is dramatically reduced. I rarely think about food. Weight loss is so much easier. It is the key. So I always have protein in my house available. If I don't have cooked chicken, I have cans of tuna, cans of salmon, frozen shrimp, eggs galore in my fridge, and protein powder for emergencies. What are my other go-to sources? And then there's always something in the freezer. And I portion things into 8-ounce portions. Salmon fillets, ground beef, steaks, so that I can just take out individual portions and they thaw much quicker. But I'm never without protein. So I'm gonna make my lunch now, and then I'm gonna go rest. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me anytime.